Hello guys, and welcome back to the ZeroEmpires Invitational semi-finals. This is game number 3 now between Spring and LB10 to see who will make it through to the final round of the ZeroEmpires Invitational. Over to the southwest of the map in the green we have got Spring, and he is playing as the Koreans. And up to the north of the map in the teal we have got LB10 playing as the Saracens. As you can see at the top of your screen by the scoreboard, the score is currently 2-0 to Spring after LB10, put up a good fight in the first 2 games, but ultimately couldn't break through and get himself a win, even though it was close at times. I think LB10 has put up a fantastic fight so far this tournament. He's done extremely well so far this tournament, and you know, it's a little bit of a shame that so far he hasn't made it work against Spring. But this is the 3rd game anyway, and we will see how it goes down. The map is Plains. I need to double check. It's Steppe. My bad. Steppe. I always forget which one it is because Plains is also very similar, but I don't think Plains is included with the Forgotten. I get confused. It's late. Anyway, it's an interesting map. It is a nomad start, but it's not like you have to really move your villagers anywhere. It's literally just putting down your TC as in the most ideal location as possible. As you can see, Spring's put it on the wood line and on the berries here, and LB10 has put his on the wood line and the gold. Now, going close to the wood is very common, and that's usually where players will put their TCs. However, whether or not they go on gold or something like that is usually a little bit more varied. Obviously for Spring here, his gold's a little bit further away, and putting his TC over here might not have been that clear of a choice to begin with. I mean, he may have not even scouted over here, which is most likely to be the case. So it's a little bit of a nomad start. They do start with 6 population, which I believe is, I don't think the horse counts as a population. The horse, of course, being a scout. Not sure if that counts as a population or not, but they do start with 6 population anyway, so it's slightly more villagers to begin with. And other than that, it's standard resources. They do have 2 boars, and for Spring, they are a little bit far out from his TC. They also have llamas in this case, which give 100 food, and as someone rightly pointed out not long ago, a little bit more line of sight than sheep as well. And they also have deer, which is in the center of the map, so I guess the deer are slightly less standard than normal, as you do have to travel quite a ways to get them. However, this map is definitely suited to Spring's style of play. Now, for those of you who don't really know that much about Spring, he definitely plays a lot more kind of open maps. He plays Arabia a lot. In fact, Huns Arabia is his pretty much, well, best map to play on, really. And he is very well known for being much more of an open map player than a closed map player, which could be troublesome for LB10, especially in the last game, which was Arabia. We saw LB10 walling up quite a lot, and that obviously cost him, as he did not win that game. So we'll see how this one goes, and whether or not we'll see some really early aggression, maybe a drush or something like that. Though saying that with a nomad start, sometimes drushing not too popular, as obviously you're fairly slow getting up to the feudal age anyway, as you have to spend that starting time building up that TC and all of that good stuff. So for now, LB10 with the score lead, most likely to do with scouting. He's looking for Spring already. Now, the big disadvantage with the horse, of course, is that the horse does not have a very good line of sight at all. I think it has something like 2 line of sight, which is abysmal. It's only a little bit more than the sheep, and in fact, I think the llamas in this case would be ideal to scout with, or just as good as the horse here. You see LB10 as well, funky boar lure, but definitely worthwhile. Bringing that in without even loom, which is very impressive, considering that there's probably a decent amount of lag between these 2 guys, as Spring, of course, being from the US and LB10 being from Austria. But bringing that boar in pretty comfortably, actually, using his horse to block it and slow its arrival back to the TC. LB10 sticking up a barracks, and he will indeed do a drush. A little bit maybe unusual, because the reason why I say that's unusual is obviously with a nomad start, you're a little bit slower to get the ball rolling anyway. Not only that, but think about the TC placement here. Spring's TC is against wood, it's against berries, it's against, you know, he's got everything he needs to go up to the feudal age, right underneath his town centre. And if you look at LB10's location as well, it's all really close together. And Cision said this in the previous game between Hallis and Toady on this map, that the TC location is usually on a lot of vital resources. And I think doing a drush is a little bit senseless, to be honest with you, because, I mean, what is this drush going to achieve? It's not really going to get anywhere near to these villagers, because they're all sitting under the TC, and they're protected by the TC. And, you know, a drush well, militia even don't have a chance against arrow fire. So really, I think this drush is going to end up being wasted, and that is a little bit of a concern, because a drush does cost quite a bit of resources. We can see Spring, however, going for a tower. Now, we saw Toady try this out against Hallis. However, it was unsuccessful, unfortunately for him. But a tower is definitely a better option, because a good tower can cover a whole lot of area. I mean, with 8 range, they really do have a lot of well, range. They can hit things from very far away, and that is a big bonus, and they obviously can cover a wide area, which obviously means a tower here would be pretty bad for LB10. You consider a town center has 6 range, you can put a tower out of range of the town center, and it can cover farms, the gold, and the wood as well, which is going to be costly for LB10 if Spring manages to pull that off. And whoa, he's going forward with 8 villagers there. That is a huge forward, actually. It's very unusual to see 8 villagers. Now, a normal forward would consist of, you know, 5 or 6, but 8? This is going to be some interesting trushing from Spring, and if he is successful, this may be a pretty short game. The only plus side for LB10 is he going to see... Yeah, he's going to see the villagers. Surely. Surely. No. No, he didn't. Wow. Okay, so this militia walked straight by the villagers there. That was a big mistake from LB10. He had a chance to spot that out, but he missed it. And Spring's going to head straight over here and comfortably be able to get up some towers out of range of LB10's line of sight. Although he is getting a bit close to this house, I would be kind of concerned for LB10 here. Spring up to feudal, and the first tower is going to start going up. LB10 just going to run away. He can't fight that, really, and that means he's pushed away from the berries already, and he's going to have to bring his militia right back. Now, I suppose the only saving grace for LB10 at the moment is he has got some militia here, which can help to fight these villagers. But again, this tower's already up, and LB10 going to take a little bit of damage coming towards it, and it's going to be tough killing these villagers off now that first tower is up. As the more towers go up, the more difficult it is to deal with, really. You have to react very quickly to a tower rush. Of course, LB10 could start hammering away at this with his militia, but that's going to take a long while to come down. And meanwhile, Spring's just going to be putting up more and more towers. One here, just in range of this gold, and I don't see any reaction from LB10 at all. I mean, what can he do? He isn't feudal yet, as this drush really delayed his feudal time. Another tower going up on this right side, and Spring, every time he puts a tower up now, is going to be in a better position time and time again, as LB10 is really unresponsive to this at the moment, which is a big concern. Previously, I was talking about the horses, actually. I just want to bring that up again. You have a look at the horses here. They, as you see, have very low line of sight, but they also, the reason they have a horse and not a scout is so that they can't actually attack, I believe. I don't know if that's the official reason, but my reasoning, my logical thought process for this is that they have a horse because a horse cannot attack, and with this being a nomad start, normally on a nomad map you don't start with a scout at all. So the horse is sort of a little bit of something, but it's not really overpowered. You know, it can't start attacking villagers or laming really quickly. So I think that's the real reason why there's a horse here and not a scout cavalry. So Spring really just starting to pull ahead, and you know, LB10 still on the way up to the feudal age, and about 80%. It's going to be a while before he manages to even get one counter tower up. Meanwhile, LB10 try to take down this watchtower, but villagers from Spring just going to finish him off. No chance at all of those militia getting that tower down. And, well, LB10 is going to either have to fight with his villagers or basically just get surrounded. And obviously that's not going to work out for him either. So at the moment, market going up at the back, he's going to have to buy some stone by the looks of it, because if we have a look at his stone locations, they are out of sight for him. Way over here on the left side, Spring's already got that covered, and LB10 can only afford one tower at the moment, and one tower will not be enough to stop this entirely, though he has walled up this left-hand side, which is going to stop Spring coming in around the back. So LB10 really in not panic mode, but definitely in high response mode. I mean, he's got no villagers gathering anything at the moment. He's got villagers inside the TC taking down the watchtower on the left, the rest of them building the watchtower on the right, and that's it. Nothing else at all for LB10. Now I think he wants to put up a mill here, but he's not had the, well, not got the wood to do that. So at the moment he's out of gold. He cannot take gold comfortably, because any villagers on gold will start getting picked off by this watchtower. He can't take this gold, because otherwise this watchtower will start taking them down. And now he's started to focus down this one here, rather than finishing off this tower on the left, which means this one will get healed up. And, you know, meanwhile, Spring's just back at home, comfortably taking his resources like he needs to, and continuing to tower it up. I really don't see how LB10 is going to keep himself in the game here with having so little income of resource at this stage. Obviously, without any stone as well, it's just going to make it more and more difficult. He's already bought some stone from the market, and we know that buying stuff from the market's never a good idea. And these villagers as well, it's not always a bad idea, but it's never ideal. Obviously, you don't get a very good exchange rate when you're buying stuff from the market. It does cost more gold. If you, obviously 100 stone will cost more than 100 gold, basically. So LB10 unable to get enough wood either to build a mill here. So these villagers are walking right the way back to the TC. And really, I kind of feel like LB10 is just missing a big thing. I mean, doing the drush, I just don't understand why, and that is really costing him quite a lot at the moment. However, he is taking down some of these towers, 2 here going down, and Spring losing a couple of villagers as well. So it's not all over just yet, but it really is hurting Spring's eco at the moment, as he now has, well, another 3, 6, 9 villagers in this TC trying to take down this watchtower on the left. It's just taking him a long while to do it, and it's costing him a lot of gathering time as well. So Spring now back at home can start really focusing on food, and maybe follow this through with some archers or something like that. That would be great to see. If Spring comes in with some archers and supports this, if he runs some archers into the back, if he even towers this palisade and starts taking it down and brings some archers in, that would also work very, very well. But Spring now just going to stonewall these towers up, and he can just kind of leave them be. I mean, he's done the damage at the moment. He could just switch back into kind of, okay, gonna really reboot my economy here, gonna take my villagers off wood, off of stone, and maybe just think about going castle, because he's done enough damage here to really throw LB10 off. LB10 at the moment still cannot take any gold, and he's finally got that mill up at the back. That's good to see. He's finally got the mill up. But yeah, really extremely disrupted. Cannot keep villager production going because he doesn't have enough villagers on food at the moment. And he's, as you can see, just desperately trying to get those farms up and keep his economy safe for now. So this tower on the left standing tall still, as this TC still fires at it. I don't see that one going down for a while. Spring can easily just bring more villagers over to repair it. And that single tower is stopping LB10 from taking gold at the moment. So Spring, it seems, yeah, just towering up here. He could, I don't know. Okay, LB10's walled this up. I don't know if there's actually a gap there, or if he was just going to try and prevent Spring from maybe doing a tree hop or something. But yet another tower going up, and that's just going to secure Spring a little bit more map control as well. So LB10, where's he going? Is he going right to the back to take some more wood? I don't know, but he's population blocked as well, and it's looking more and more messy by the minute. Spring, on the other hand, we'll have a look back at base for him, continuing to keep those villagers popping out. Wheelbarrow on the way as well, to make these farms even more effective. And like I say, I mean, he could either follow this up with more military coming in, or he could just go up to the castle age in a much faster time than LB10 could at the moment. So Spring's on 30 population, LB10's on 30 as well, which is, you'd think, a little bit surprising, but LB10's actually done a really good job of keeping villagers coming out. I said before, you know, he's struggling. He didn't have enough food income to do it, but now he's seeded these extra farms. He can keep them coming out. And, you know, he's not that far behind, but he has been disrupted, and it's going to be a real uphill battle to push these towers down now. Obviously, he's really cornered into the map, and Spring's just walling him in completely. Look at this, wall here, wall here. LB10 is just getting absolutely cornered as Spring builds these stone walls on the outside of these palisades, and this is fantastic because, I mean, even if LB10 now gets up to the castle age, even if he breaks out of these sort of surrounding towers, he's going to have to ram down a wall before he can even leave his base, giving Spring, you know, all the freedom in the world to do whatever the hell he likes for the next however long he decides to keep this game going for. LB10 walling as well behind here, as Spring doesn't even need to really finish these walls off. But I mean, that's fantastic. LB10 just completely walled in, and what is he going to do now? I mean, he still cannot take the gold, which is a big problem. And as Spring continues to stonewall these towers up, that means that LB10 is going to find it even harder to take them down. He can't just rush them with villagers, because the watchtowers will be protected by the stone walls. So LB10's option really is to get stone and build his own towers and take the towers of Spring down. But that's easier said than done when you have no stone and you have no gold income. His other option is to go to the castle age and make some siege. Again, that's difficult when you don't have any gold. I mean, he's going to have to use his market here, and it's less than ideal. Oh. I take that back. He has got gold. He's got gold at the back, which I didn't see. And I'm surprised I didn't see that, because I did look over here earlier. So LB10 has got a little bit of gold income. But, like I say, it's not an ideal situation for him. But I would love to see him break out of this. It would be a fantastic little comeback if he manages to break out of these walls. But it's quite funny, nevertheless. I mean, Spring just walling him, LB10 in. I remember, actually, a long time ago, now I don't know if you guys know Mr. Danish. He used to make Age of Empires videos before I even started. He was pretty good, and he was a little bit of an inspiration to me as well. He doesn't make videos anymore, but I remember he showed a game where the enemy, well, one player walled the other player in, and this reminds me of that, and that was a pretty old video there. So Spring, on the other hand, nearly up to the castle age now. I'm surprised he's not taken any gold, but, well, they're saying that, yeah, there we go. Gold mining camp on the right-hand side. I was thinking, what's he going to do? Surely he will just take some gold. He won't build a market and sell something for the gold, because he didn't have a mining camp at all. But there we go, mining camp is up, and Spring, once again, I mean, if you remember the first game between Spring and LB10, Spring had like 1,600 food before he clicked up to castle. He's nearly at 1,000 food now, and he's forgotten to take gold again. But really, I guess at the moment, he's not too concerned. I think he feels pretty comfortable with his position in this game so far. Of course, what Spring can't see is the economy back here. He doesn't know that LB10 has gold back here, though we might be able to make an assumption that he does. LB10's trying to go for the castle age upgrade by the looks of it. And of course, if he can get castle, start making some rams, make some mangonels to take these guys down. Of course, mangonels would be better against the towers with the stone walls around them. Even though the towers outrange the mangonels, a villager repairing the mangonel will be enough to keep it alive until the tower goes down. So, LB10's not giving it up yet. I mean, he's aiming for the castle age. Spring is going to click up to castle any moment now. 1,200 food in the bank, and he's trying to get gold in. He'll get there eventually, and I'm going to speed things up for a little bit until something else happens here, because at the moment it's a little bit of, not a stalemate, but it's a little bit of a boom situation where both of them are just making eco. So Spring nearly on 1,500 food as he's clicking up to the castle age now. That's, again, he's done it again. He can almost afford to click up twice. That's how much food he had left. Wow, I didn't realize. LB10, that's good. I did not even notice that. He has a villager that's like outside, right over here on the left side of the map. This is fantastic. This is probably going to catch Spring off guard. And you know what? LB10's actually clicked up to the castle age before Spring here. And that is just because Spring's eco is a little bit messy and off-balanced once again. And this could be fantastic. Oh no, Spring's going to see it. Oh, he's going to... Damn it. He's going to send his villager right over there and spot this. And that would have been fantastic if LB10 had pulled this one off. I mean, could you imagine if LB10 had done this completely unseen and suddenly Spring had knights in his base or something like that? And, well, he probably still will have knights in his base, but could you imagine if he had no idea? That would have just been amazing. But unfortunately for LB10, Spring, in almost a pure fluke, sees this, and he looks like he's going to try and wall it in, prevent these guys from getting out. And obviously LB10's got to be very careful now, otherwise this could be all for nothing. However, LB10 will get up to the castle edge before Spring, like I say, and that could be enough to give him a little bit of a comeback. Oh no, it's not going to be enough. Oh no. LB10 needs to get a knight out quickly and prevent these walls from going up. This area here is still open, but the right side has been walled completely at the moment. Of course, Spring going to just wall that in as best he can to stop these knights getting out. LB10 has to get the knights out before Spring walls this front area off, and Spring's bringing 4 villagers over. He's going to do everything he can to stop these knights from getting out, and all he has to do is wall here and here, though he is coming in a little bit faster and building a market, and another market. He's going to prevent them from getting out. LB10's only escape is through this north path, and he has to go up there quickly, otherwise he's going to be completely walled in, and that would be an absolute shame for LB10. I mean, really, that would be a shame, because this would have been a complete game changer had he managed to pull it off. I think, though, that Spring's villager here may just get there in time. Another market going up and a blacksmith here, and that's all he needs to do to stop this going up. And another house. Is he gonna get it out? Oh man, that was so close, so close. Now Spring is probably gonna be able to, LB10 is probably gonna be able to get out of this still. Spring doesn't move his villager over to the left side, so there we go. LB10's gonna get out just. But that was a really nice attempt at walling that in, and Spring, fantastic stuff. Look at these guard towers going up here. He's got stone to burn through at the moment. He really has. Of course, these upgrading to guard towers now as he is playing as the Koreans. But LB10 anyway, more knights coming out. He's managed to keep himself in the clear for now, just escaping. And I think Spring quickly walling up, putting up a monastery as well for some monks by the looks of things. And Spring, I think, is still just taking a ton of stone. He can afford a castle, and he will probably drop it down on the right-hand side to protect this gold and stone any moment now. Of course, 2 TCs up for Spring as well. But surprisingly, LB10 takes the score lead. But he is still locked inside of his base, still walled in by Spring. And Ram's coming out now to try and escape these walls and try and take these guard towers down. At the moment, do I think LB10 can make a comeback? Well, we'll see what he can do with these knights. They have got bloodlines, and they have got +1 defense, so that is something. But Spring, castle up here on the right, like I predicted, and knights coming out as well. Sorry, not knights, monks coming out any moment now, as Spring quickly walls himself up to try and stop these knights from doing any damage. The problem is for LB10, the longer he waits, the less effective this raid is going to be. And at the moment, Spring is well defended, and defended well enough. There's no way, I don't think, at this stage that these guys are going to do enough damage here. That castle well and truly protecting this right side. The left side is walled up, and even if LB10 gets in here, of course, the monks will finish the job. So, I mean, really nice attempt by LB10. You've got to give him that. I mean, he has played really innovatively, and that little escaped villager there could have swung the game, but Spring, in a sheer stroke of luck it seems, manages to scout it out, and that has completely saved his ass, really. It has. So the Ram rush now from LB10 coming in, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. I mean, even if LB10 takes down all these towers and he clears the walls out, by the time he's got up his 2nd and 3rd TC, Spring's going to be so far ahead. I mean, LB10 at the moment, 66 population, Spring on 62, but he doesn't have any military. And of course, with 3 villagers coming out at a time, Spring's just going to pull ahead even more as he just continues to boom up, pretty much unattested. I mean, uncontested. He's not going to have any problem with these knights at all. In fact, what's that on the right side? A 4th town center, of course. This is a 300 population limit game, and why wouldn't he? Really, why wouldn't he put up that 4th TC? He's got all the time in the world to boom now, as LB10 is still stuck behind the walls for now. So it's looking really, really bad for LB10 at the moment, and I really don't see how he's going to be able to do a nice comeback here, well, a comfortable comeback here. It's going to be very difficult for him. Like I say, he's still taking down these guard towers, and this forward from Spring might have cost him a lot of stone, but it has been very effective at preventing LB10 from doing any serious damage to Spring at all. What is he still got? He's still starting to make continuing to make light cabs. He's still got knights, of course. I'm just waiting to see LB10 try and hit Spring's economy. 50C going up on the left side for Spring, and he can just keep them coming up. He can keep churning out villagers, and we've seen this before as well. The larger eco he has, the stronger he is in the late game, and that's kind of expected, right? Obviously, building these 5 TCs, getting up to about 160 villagers or more, that's just going to mean that Spring can pump out more and more and more military as the game goes on. So he started making a little bit more now. War wagons coming out, and we've got monks as well. Of course, the light cavalry here will combat the monks really nicely, but war wagons are incredibly strong, and if Spring starts to mass these up, the knights are going to have a real tough time against them, especially once he gets +2 attack, because these knights are... Oh no, they do have +2 as well. But of course, once that +2 attack comes in on these guys as well, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for LB to deal with. Spring at the moment, 120 pop, LB10, 84. And LB10 is going up to the Imperial Age. I don't know. Obviously, he can't just try and outboom Spring here. That's not going to happen. Outbooming Spring is out of the question. So LB10, try to pull something off. Try to pull something out of the bag. But he's going to have a tough time. He's got a weak economy at the moment, and the best he can do is go up to the Imperial Age and hope he can take down LB10's defenses. He's got quite a few rams, so capped ram is probably going to be on the way. Yeah, it's 40%, so he's going to go for capped ram. He'll probably try and rush this castle down, but at the moment, with Spring making these war wagons, once the upgrades come in, +2 attack already, +1 defense, it's going to be very, very difficult for LB10 to push into this successfully. So 5 barracks down on the right for Spring. He knows he's going to get a little bit more military pressure applied to him, and he's going to put up a defense pretty quickly by the looks of things. He's clicked up to Imperial as well, and LB10 still sort of posturing, repairing his rams with this villager, and he's ready to make a little bit of a move. There's a lot of rams here actually, and they will take that castle down very quickly if Spring doesn't manage to defend. Now at the moment, with only war wagons, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to take down the rams with just war wagons. But once he starts getting halbs out, or spearmen for now, which is obviously the most logical choice for Spring at the moment, those rams are going to be much more difficult for LB10 to keep alive. And of course these pikes, soon to be pikes, well, I imagine that research is on the way somewhere. Nope, he's not doing pikeman research yet. Ah, there it is, doing pikeman research. So once these pikes are out as well, even more difficult for LB10 to push into this, and that's a real problem. He needs a mixed army to fight this. Just cavalry alone is not going to be enough. He needs some crossbow arbalest support, but he doesn't have that. He can't afford that, and LB10 is going to make this last ditch attempt now. Spring's war wagons though looking really strong, and of course with this castle here, it's going to be so difficult for LB10. I don't think he's going to push into the castle, right? He's going over to the left side, going to raid this open economy here. Could do a decent amount of damage to villagers, that's for sure. This villager here as well, chasing down the rams, like, come here you, I want to heal you up all the way across the map. Oh man, it's taking way longer than Spring would like, sorry, LB10 would like to do that. And here comes the pikeman, and well, Good raiding by LB10 so far, doing a decent amount of eco damage to Spring. The unprotected eco at the front getting taken down pretty quickly. But now the pikes are coming in. Spring's going to have a much easier time taking this down. And the first ram looks like it's about to fall. And this war wagon support here is going to start dealing a lot of damage to the Knights and Light Cavalry. If they can catch them, that is. Meanwhile, I mean, there's very little going on over at LB10's base. He's still only on the 1 TC, I think. Oh, no, he's got up a second TC now at last. But, as I say, this is very little at the moment. Compared to Spring's 5 against 2, if this attack fails from LB10, if he doesn't do enough eco damage, then that's it. It's GG, and there it is indeed. LB10 feeling like he's just not going to pull this one off, and it certainly looked that way. Spring gearing up for a huge military production on this right hand side, and this attack from LB10, although he did a lot of damage to Spring's eco at the top, certainly wouldn't have been able to follow through, as he was getting eventually cleared up here by these pikes, war wagons, and TCs as well. So Spring will take this game, and that means he will take the series, making it 3-0 to Spring, and that's it. Spring will go through to the grand finals against Hallis, which are going to be played later, actually. So if you're watching this now, then you should tune into the ZeroEmpires Twitch TV stream, where we will be streaming Spring versus Hallis at 18 GMT. So I will put the link in the description to this video. And definitely check it out, because they should be really good games, and I'm hoping that Hallis will get a game from Spring, because Spring hasn't lost a game so far this tournament, even though LB10 was very, very close to taking a game from him. So there we go. Anyway, I enjoyed these games. I thought they were good. It was great to see LB10 trying something, even though he was definitely behind. He played really well these games and gave Spring a good run for his money. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. As usual, I've been Zach, and I will see you guys next time.